Hello and welcome to the handover video for the Autoroller 764. We'll start on the outside of the vehicle, work our way around, and then we'll step inside. So starting at the passenger door on the cab, in here you'll find bonnet release just to the side of the dashboard there. Underneath the passenger seat is the home of the battery charger. And if I slide the seat forward, you'll be able to see the fuse box for the 12-volt systems inside the vehicle. Just to the side of the passenger door and unconnected to the central locking system is the fuel point. Simply insert the key, turn, and that releases the fuel. Diesel, no AdBlue in this system. And other than opening and closing the cab, running the engine, that is all the functions of that particular key. After the initial release of the bonnet, there's a second release lever just in the centre of the bonnet underneath. Bonnet stay comes up and is inserted in there. Far left hand side windscreen washer, that's the only thing you're going to have to top up underneath the bonnet. Everything else really just gets left until service intervals. Brake fluid, coolant level, easily read from the front. It's always worth checking the oil. The dipstick is down here, oil filler cap there. But as I say, with an engine of this age and this mileage, exceptionally unlikely that you will have to top anything up other than the washer bottle. Oh, and power steering fluid too. As with all Ducatos, the battery for the vehicle is underneath a panel, underneath the footwell in the passenger side of the cab. So if you ever have to do a jump start, there is a remote paddle here, positive on that side, and then all you need to do is find a good earth point. There's one there, or alternatively you can clamp onto an engine mount if you so desire. But earth and positive, and away you go. Continuing round the outside of the vehicle, first door we come to is the gas locker. Insert the key, is clearly marked open and closed, O and C. Turn it to the open position and you can now enter the gas locker. Two 6-kilogram propane bottles. It's anti-clockwise to open. As you turn the valve anti-clockwise, you'll feel it rising up. The valve is obviously opening, so anti-clockwise to open, clockwise to close. Open it all the way and then bring it back a little bit so it doesn't stick. There is no drive safe system here, so you have to switch the gas off in transit. Continuing on the off side of the vehicle, vents for the fridge. Inside one of the kitchen drawers you'll find the covers that can go on there. If you're driving in particularly cold conditions, it's worth putting them on. It'll stop the fridge overworking. Electric hookup point with a safety release on the left. When you're hooking up, always hook up to the vehicle first and carry the dead end over to the power point. Never plug in at the power point and then carry a live socket over to the vehicle, especially on a wet day like today. Just below the vehicle, you'll see a drain valve for the grey water tank. Winter drain down procedure is open this valve. You also open the valve on the freshwater tank, which is stored internally. And you can see here, there's a small brass rod with a lever at the top of it to open the valve on that. And you also open the valve next to the boiler, which you can see here. Taking the valve to the vertical position will allow the boiler to drain. Those three valves open and your entire freshwater system should drain. Located to the rear of the vehicle is the garage space, which is accessible from both sides of the vehicle. Again, unlock, turn. There's a small catch up here which stops the door dropping down and hitting you in the back of the head. Inside the garage, some levelling ramps, a step, electric hookup cable, a couple of spare for your wheel trims. This goes on to the awning, the centre of the awning, to just give additional support. It's quite a long awning on this vehicle, and this is the awning handle. Normally I would wind out the awning to show you what it looks like, but the two things awnings don't like are wind and rain, and today it's particularly wet. and I don't want to get it wet before you collect the vehicle. This particular vehicle is also fitted with a tow bar and a 7-pin electrical system. The bike rack is already mounted. It's a 4-bike rack, bike in each tray, clamping arms onto outer and one in on the bike. The arms are also very useful for keeping, although these catches here will catch onto the bike rack, it always pays to bring these arms down and lock them off just to hold the bike rack in that storage position. The access hatch to the toilet cassette is lockable. To release the toilet cassette, lift up the handle in the inside and it should freely come loose. If you feel any resistance, go back into the vehicle and make sure the blade on the toilet bowl has been closed properly. You take this to the waste disposal point, remove the yellow cap from the end, which also has markers on it for inserting chemicals after you've emptied it. To release the air pressure, to allow the easy flow of waste material, you press in the yellow button at this end, so. After it's emptied, if you're using liquid chemicals, measure them with the cap, in they go with about a litre of water. Mix to activate and then return the cassette to the inside of the vehicle. Never put toilet chemicals down the bowl because they'll stain the white plastic of the toilet bowl. The exception to that rule is if you're using the sachets, they can get dropped down because they just drop straight down the middle of the bowl, and then just press the flush button to activate the chemical in the sachet with, again, about 1 litre of water. This square plastic cover here, to remove it, 2 fingers underneath and then press in the middle and off it comes. This is the cover that covers the flue of the boiler. The boiler heats up your hot water on gas. If you don't take this flue cover off, the back pressure created by the exhaust fumes hitting here will activate a safety cutout and your boiler won't work, you won't get hot water. When you take this off, it's a good idea to put it somewhere safe so you remember to put it back on before you drive away. An excellent place is right on the dashboard in front of the steering wheel. And finally, before we enter into the interior of the vehicle, water fill cap, freshwater tanks located inside the vehicle in the front dinette area. Simply put a garden hose in there and fill it with water. Above the door, just as you enter the vehicle, you'll see a control panel, one for the diesel heater, one for the 12-volt electrical system, and a display panel for the solar panel. Now, the solar panel in this particular vehicle is connected only to the leisure battery, and by toggling through these arrows here, you'll see what the various status situation is as far as the battery is concerned. Currently sitting at 13.7 volts because we're plugged into mains and we've got light falling upon the solar panel. 12-volt control panel. This must always get switched on first before you operate anything inside the vehicle, such as the water pump or the internal lights. Switch the panel on, and the first thing we get is a little symbol lit up here that indicates that we are plugged into mains and everything is charging. Water pump, let's switch the water pump on. Get into the habit of just using this on demand. The last thing you want is the water pump to run on when you don't have any water in the system. When you first switch the water pump on after filling the vehicle with water, you'll hear the pump come on as it charges the boiler. It will draw water from the tank into the boiler. The next step is to open the tap in the kitchen and in the bathroom on the hot setting and draw water into that pipe network. Just leave it open, the pump will run, all the aerated water will flow through the tap. When you get continuity of flow of water, you know that the system is well and truly charged. Then and only then is it safe to switch on the gas boiler. Above the tap is the light, the external awning light. This supplies 12-volt power to all the internal lights, which then operate with switches on the individual lights, as you can see here, the ceiling lights and the underlocker lights here. We can check condition of batteries. Vehicle battery showing full charge at 12.9, leisure battery full charge at 13.4, which matches the solar panel. Moving to the top two buttons, on the left hand side is the temperature sensor, which tells us the internal temperature of the vehicle is at 21. There is an option for an external sensor. This vehicle has not been fitted with it. And over on the right hand side, water tank, currently sitting at 66% capacity. On the left hand side is the control knob for the Webasto diesel hot blown air system. Very simple. It's in the off position. You turn it on if everything is working fine, if you have enough 12 volt power in your leisure battery to ignite the Webasto diesel heater, which is slung underneath the vehicle. That light will come on green and stay green, dial up the temperature required. The further round you go, the warmer the vehicle will become. Having turned on the gas at the bottle, you are able to operate both the gas hob, the oven and the grill. There is no igniter button on this particular grill, so you'll need either a gas match or a match. Push and turn, holding in on the highest point, ignite, hold it for a few seconds on full, just to let the thermocouple heat up. And again, hold it for a few seconds, let the thermocouple heat up so that the flame stays on, and that's you all three burners going. There is no safety cutout on the glass hob. As you can see here, there's a warning sign, do not close when the flames are on. That also goes for while it's still warm. If you close this lid on a very hot, this is just warm because we've only just done a quick test, but if you close that on a very hot hob, chances are that that safety glass could shatter. Moving down to the oven and grill. Grill, you turn the dial clockwise. To activate the oven, you turn the dial anti-clockwise. There's an igniter button here for the grill. Turn, hold in, press, and you can see the flames come on. Keep pressure on the knob just for a couple of moments to allow the thermocouple to heat up, then release and you can grill away. Similarly for the oven, press, turn anti-clockwise, ignite, flame comes on, keep the dial pressed in for a few seconds, then release. If you find the oven doesn't light, it's just because gas hasn't been drawn through the system, and sometimes you just find on these models it's useful to take your gas lighter and just ignite it for the first time like that until the thermocouple has had a chance to really warm up. Located at the back of this lower drawer in the kitchen area, you'll see the RCD protection switch. The orange button is a test. If you press that when you're plugged into mains and the RCD trip switches like that, you know that it is functioning correctly, and it will trip out should you have any earth issues. And to the side of that drawer there's another drawer, and inside here you'll find the gas isolator valves isolating each of the individual gas systems. When the switch is in line with the exit pipe from the manifold, it's in the on position. When it's turned through 90 degrees, it isolates the gas to that pipe and to the appropriate little logo there indicating, in this case, hot water, so that is the boiler. Your motorhome is supplied with a 3-way Tetford fridge. To switch the fridge on, press the button on the left hand side until every dial illuminates. It will then show what your source of energy and your setting on the thermostat is. It goes to sleep so it doesn't stay illuminated and keep you awake at night. To illuminate the dial, just simply press the button in the middle once. We're running on mains electricity at maximum coldness. To change that, press and hold this button until everything flashes. Now we're selecting our choice of fuel. We have mains electricity, we have battery, which is not running from the leisure battery, it's running off the alternator, and this is the setting you would choose to keep your fridge cold while in transit. After the battery comes gas. Once you've selected, you press to enter, and then you can adjust the temperature of your fridge accordingly. We're now running on gas. Let's go back to electric. Since we're plugged into the mains here, there's no point in using our gas when we don't have to. Simple little lever on the side to open the fridge. When you're putting the vehicle in storage, or if you're not using the fridge for a while, there's a small spacer underneath the handle which comes out and engages with the catch, so, and that will stop the fridge door from closing, but it will keep it in that position and allow air to vent into the fridge and stop the fridge from smelling. The toilet bowl swivels to give you as much leg room as you require. If you look down into the toilet bowl, you'll see the blade that we spoke about, giving access to the cassette underneath. The blade is operated by a silver handle to the side of the toilet. So, and it must always be in a closed position when you remove the cassette. To flush the toilet, simply press this button with the water pump on, and water will be drawn from the freshwater tank to flush the toilet. When the cassette is full, that light will come on to indicate that that is the status of the cassette. To make up the double bed in the dinette area, we've taken all the cushions off to illustrate how easy it actually is. You'll notice at the end here there's a sliding panel. Withdraw this sliding panel first, then draw out this panel to there, and the same thing happens on this side. Back panel comes out, bottom panel comes out. Next, the table, lift it 45 degrees and it will come off the back bar. Drop the leg down to that position. The table now rests on these two bars here. Extension piece goes into the back of the table. To extend the table, infill cushions go across here, and all the cushions you've taken away simply go back on top and make the bed. So while we have the dinette in this semi-stripped condition, it's a nice time to show you the control panel for the gas boiler. Simple rocker switch with 3 positions. In the middle position it's off. Top position is water will heat to approximately 50 degrees Celsius, ideal for doing dishes and just general purpose. If you're wanting to have a shower, recommend you select the 70 degrees Celsius position. If you've forgotten to either switch the gas on, so there's no gas supply, or if you've forgotten to take the cover off the flue on the outside, a small red light will come on here as the boiler tries to ignite, realises there's an issue and puts up the error message. Not that it's something you should be servicing yourself, but if you ever need access, water pump and small filter are located under the dinette. Let's have a quick tour of the cab area now. On the driver's door there is a joystick which allows you to adjust all 4 mirrors, starting with the first turn clockwise, the largest mirror on the driver's door. Next turn will allow you to adjust the small blind spot mirror over to the small blind spot mirror on the near side and the large mirror on the near side before returning to the off position. Once you've selected a position for a mirror, by moving this joystick around you will adjust the mirror. That is the electric windows for passenger and driver. Down here is the angle adjustment on your head beam, there and there. Entering the mode will take you into your various trip meter modes, and then you can toggle between them there. You can also do that by pressing on the end of the stalk on the right hand side of the steering wheel. Stalk on the right hand side of the steering wheel is for windscreen wipers. The stalks on the left hand side of the steering wheel are for the lights and indicators and for the cruise control. To select reverse on this particular model, clutch down and there is a collar release to go over and up to reverse, which will activate the reversing camera. Standard Fiat Ducato air circulating system, the outer dial direction of airflow. The switch down here is either for exterior air coming into the vehicle or recycling. Always a good idea to use recycling if you're using the air conditioning, because you're only conditioning and chilling down already cool air, so it saves energy. Energy is fuel. On the left hand dial, temperature ring on the outside and fan speed on the lever. You can lock the vehicle internally from here, hazard lights, fog lights, and although there's no heated rear windscreen anymore, the elements are still there in the mirrors on the 2 cab doors and they will demist when you activate that. 12-volt power supply, cigarette lighter which can be used as a secondary 12-volt power supply, and radio all as standard. So thank you very much for choosing Highland Camper Vans. We hope that you will get lots of miles and lots of smiles out of your new motorhome. In fact, we know you will. At Highland Camper Vans, we pride ourselves in making memories, and we know you're going to make some fantastic memories with your new motorhome. If you have any questions at all, you can always get in contact with us. We're on the end of the phone. Enjoy your new van.